Welcome to the Mama Making Podcast, a space for moms figuring it out in real time, at home, at work, and everywhere in between. Hosted by me, Jessica Lamb, this show is here to help you feel a little less alone in the mess and magic of motherhood. Each week brings a mix of solo reflections, expert interviews, and real stories from moms leaning into themselves, whether that's into parenting, into entrepreneurship, or just surviving the day. Because there's no one way to do motherhood, and you don't have to do it alone. If that sounds like your kind of vibe, make sure to follow the show, share it with a friend, and keep showing up, exactly as you are. This episode of the Mama Making Podcast is sponsored by Collabs Creative. If you're a mom building a business and trying to do it without a roadmap, you're so not alone. That's exactly why I started Collabs Creative, to help founders like you tell your story, grow your brand, and actually connect with the people you're meant to serve. From social media strategy to full-on content creation, we do grassroots marketing that feels real, because it is. If you're ready to stop throwing things at the wall to see what sticks and start showing up like the founder you already are, head to collabscreative.com and let's start building something good. Now let's get on to the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mama Making Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. Today, I am very excited to have Taylor on the podcast. Taylor is the founder of the Mompreneur Paper Company, a creative stationery and lifestyle brand designed to support ambitious moms in business. Her products blend function and inspiration from planners to journals, and they're all gorgeous. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and motherhood, building something out of nothing, something from scratch, and creating some systems that will actually support moms rather than drain them. Welcome, Taylor. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jessica. I love the introduction. I feel so welcome, and you did a beautiful job. Thank you.
Thanks. So tell us a little bit more about you, who you are, where you're from, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, so I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. That's where I'm at locally, well, right now. Married 9 years. I have 2 kids. My oldest is almost 7, and then 3.5. And I kind of jumped in the entrepreneur field when my oldest was probably 2. It was in the middle of 2020, and I was like, "I'm going to jump into real estate." Like, I want at that time, my husband was in grad school, and I was like, "I need to figure out how I can be home with, my oldest and then help support our family and pay off the debt that we're accruing." And so that was kind of the first thing that got me into being an entrepreneur. So I got my license and started building the business. That set the foundation for me on really what it takes to hustle and build a business. And it was really interesting because I'm learning how to work hard while raising a 2-year-old boy who's very, very busy, very demanding. My husband's in classes, so that really it was empowering and also taught me a lot. But when I brought home my second boy, oh man, that was hard for me. I don't know. It just totally threw off my balance. And at that point, we were living in Austin. So we just moved back to Houston. So I essentially had to restart my real estate business in Houston with now 2 kids. That was hard for me. I don't know what going from 1 to 2 kids, that threw me. Um, and I realized I needed a planner to help me organize my motherhood stuff and, running my house and the needs and demands of my real estate clients. Because I was just, oh man, it was rough. But interesting enough, when I had my 2 kids, first year in real estate, that was my best year. So go figure. I don't know. I don't know, we can pick apart why, but also I was really big on building a business my business around my family and not my family around my business. Like that was 100% priority for me. So, how I built my real estate business, I went to parks. I was where my kids wanted to be and I just made it work. And I worked in the evenings, late at night, or early in the mornings, or during nap time. So I worked where I could, but I that was my full focus of keeping my family first and still today. Um, that's always been a priority, but I created the planner and it was just like a prototype. I made it on Canva and I was on a real estate team at that point and I was like, "Hey, I made this planner. You want I can give you a copy." And anyway, they were like, "Taylor, this is actually good and helpful." And then that's when I was like, I can make something of this. And on a lot of Facebook pages and mom groups, I was seeing a lot of moms like, how do you juggle both, like business and family? And so I was like, I'm not the only one. And then I was like, these people like this planner. And that's kind of where that gateway of the whole Mompreneur Paper Co became a thing. So it started with the real estate planner, and then this year we launched the Mompreneur Planner to help other moms and businesses grow, prioritizing their family at the forefront. So,
Yeah, and I think what's so great about sharing your story and stories like these are that there's so many common threads between all of them, and so much of it comes from, like, I had my first kid or I had my second kid, and it just what I was doing wasn't working, whether it was I'm staying home and I want to be providing more monetary or
hmm
do something more for myself, and whatever the need is, that like the antithesis of it is wanting to be able to cornerstone or like pillar your family while doing something for yourself or for your family that you can build around it. And there's
yeah.
so many moms who are like, I just needed something else, or I wanted to bring money in, but I needed to do something that wasn't going to take me away from my family during the day, that I could go to the school field trips and the parent teacher conferences in the middle of the day, or whatever it is, that you're able to have a flexible schedule that you can choose and you can build your business when I always joke, like in the nap times or
hmm
whatever time works for you. And I think it's such a common thread between everybody who starts a business as a mom, that the purpose a lot of times is to be able to spend as much time with your family as possible. And
hmm
and then it all kind of evolves into helping other moms. And maybe the business that you set into wasn't specifically for moms, but I feel like anybody I talk to, there's like a little piece or a little grain that's like,
Oh,
I want to help other moms.
totally. Totally. Because we are so community oriented and we want to help others and we want other moms to be with their kids. We don't want to see other moms struggle. So totally. And I think to your point of, you know, us moms, we start businesses because we want to be with our family. I think that's also like our superpower too, because we are forced to be creative. We're forced to build businesses that are flexible and that are slim so that we can um, do both. And, we come up with ways that we can scale our business where we're not sacrificing time for money, but we can figure out how to make more money with less time. And I mean, I think that's awesome. So,
Yeah, and in my past, I was a project manager in a mental health field, and prior to that did fundraising. And so I feel like my whole career was like efficiency, doing it quick, doing it well, providing a good quality service or product while also being mindful of budget or whatever the circumstances were. But nothing taught me how to be flexible and work really hard in a small window of time and still be able to provide the best care for my client or my family member, like being a mom.
yeah.
The the lessons that you learn and like how to prioritize are like you would never learn how to do it anywhere else than being
No.
a mom.
Yeah. And I don't think I could go back to a 9 to 5 job just because of the inefficiency. It would drive me crazy. Oh, I couldn't
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think yeah, I talk to so many different moms, even like my own friends who work in like corporate America who have had to start going back into the office. And granted, I've only been doing entrepreneurship technically for less than a year. And I'm like, there is not a chance I could go back into an office and do a job that I love doing in that office setting. I love being able to, like, for example, yesterday I dropped my son off and I was like, oh, I have to stop at Target, and came across a huge clothing clearance. And I'm like, oh, I need all of this stuff for vacation. So I was able to knock that off my list of clothes for vacation. But also, the only way I was able to do that was because I had prioritized not
Mhm.
starting my morning right away so that I could bring my son to school. And then
Yeah.
I just killed time in the parking lot at Target and worked from my phone. So I
Yeah.
think most
It's so great.
corporate America jobs aren't allowing you to do that. And I think that the common
Mhm.
thread between all of us moms who've built something, whether it's a business or a product or your side hustle while you're still in your typical 9 to 5, I think all comes from being resourceful and that deep desire to be part of your family and kind of be the core of your family while still like serving yourself and what fuels you as a person.
Mhm.
I'm sure that you speak with so many other entrepreneur moms. What do you hear from other moms about like managing entrepreneurship and motherhood?
Oh, just that it's never really, like, balanced. Like, you hear that word balance being thrown around, and it's just not really a realistic thing, so just don't even try. Like, every day is different, and you're human. So what I try to do is have, like, we have a schedule. Everyone has their chores. We do a week reset to make sure that we at least start the week on a high note, all of our laundry done, put away, except for this week because this week is chaos for me. But every other weekend, we have our laundry put away. We have meal plan ready to go, w- grocery order on pickup because I don't have time to go grocery shopping anymore. Like that's just not a, or nor do I
Yep.
want to. But we have our routine. We have everybody has a job and we just make sure to do our job. Not every day is the way that they go. Some days I have more energy and some days I don't. And I just roll with it. I do what I can, push things to days that I have more energy, reevaluate. Um, and I try to spend those hours when I bring my oldest home from school. Like I try to be present with him. I'm not working. That's my time to connect with him before he goes off and plays with friends or we roll out homework and it's tears again. So um every day is different and I try to get my work done while my kids are in school or after bedtime. Um but we're not perfect, but we strive for the best and we just know that all we can do is our best. And also different seasons, like summertime for us was insane. I'm not trying to do a whole bunch of work in the summertime. Like both of my kids are home. And I think that's the beauty too, is my busy season is now till the end of the year. But summertimes, that's my season of slow. And I can really plan, okay, I can't do as much work in this season, but I can be with my family a lot. Or this season, my kids are in school. I'm not spending that much time with them, but I can get a lot of work done. So it's just kind of honoring the season, shifting, being flexible, and just being honest and realistic about what your days look like.
Yeah, and I think it is that just ebb and flow of life and
Hmm.
being realistic with that. I love people's answer to the question like, "How are you balancing it all?" Because the answer is, "Oh, none of us are." Like, we're not. And like we're gonna
Yeah.
forget something like you said, our laundry is not done this week. I think there's this myth that like everyone else is doing it perfectly and efficiently and the best that they can do. And again, it's just a myth. I think that anybody who is an entrepreneur is I always equate it to like those first few months of being a mom where it's like, okay, I finally got it down and then it all changes. And
Mhm.
I feel like it's the best comparison of once you finally feel like, okay, I've got it set, we've got a rhythm, we're doing this, it all changes. And so
Yeah.
I mean, it is that way day to day with motherhood, but then with business as well. Like my calendar is set, but what happens in between those calendar times is like every day is going to be different. And
Mhm.
that's what I kind of love about it, that there is no balance. And it's kind of like you said, instituting those times that you're like, right now is the hour or 2 hours before homework and dinner and all of that, that I'm going to be present. And
Mhm.
there's trade-offs with it. So, yeah, you're spending that time, but then you're probably working later at night or super early in the morning to make up for that time that you weren't able to work. And
Yeah.
I think, while entrepreneurship is incredible for a flexible schedule, it's also just that you're having to fit it in spaces that you have available, which I think people don't realize either. Like, oh, you can just be out at Target or grocery shopping in the middle of the day,
Mhm.
but then that also means early mornings or late at night you're
Yeah.
doing the work.
Mhm. Totally. I mean, most nights right now, I'm going to bed at, like, 11, 10:30, but I'm more of a night owl anyway, but, yeah, and I also think too, like, I know that we can't be a full 100% mom and a full 100% business owner, and the thing that has actually really saved me this year is hiring a maid. Like, we have a cleaner come, and it's really not that expensive. I know people are like, "Oh, it's a luxury item," but honestly, we don't have time to run businesses, raise our kids, and keep a house clean. Um, and so, like, no shame in hiring help because it's also like opportunity costs. You're hiring someone for honestly a small fee to come and deep clean your house once a month. But then that time gets allocated toward making money or making memories with your kids. So it's just that has been a huge game changer for me this year is realizing I can't be a whole housewife and a business owner and a mom. So that's been a big hack for me this year.
Yeah, I think when I realized outsourcing was an option, things changed for me for sure. We got a house cleaner very early on in our marriage because we're both messy in very different ways, like, and I think going back and forth with each other was like we knew was gonna be an issue, so we're like, "Let's hire someone to do the deep cleaning once a month," and it is not that expensive. Another one that we do
Yeah.
is, like you said, the grocery orders.
Mhm.
Instacart costs us $100 a year, and so just to
That's
have
so easy.
that option is game changing. I mean, you'd spend an hour in the grocery store and then however much time back home and getting everything on like, that time is so valuable when you've prioritized your family in times that you could be working. So, utilizing those, like, small ways to make life easier for yourself, I think, like you said, a lot of people are like, "It's a luxury to do that," and it might be, but at some point, like, your time is valuable and losing your time is not luxury. And, like,
Yeah.
at some point you're gonna be able to like, that's the only way you're gonna be able to balance is being able to get those tasks will always be there, figuring out how to get them done doesn't have to be, like, this huge mental load if you're able to see where would it be most helpful for me to have some help and what does that look like. Like I said, we have a cleaning lady who comes once a month, but we just transitioned to having her come once a week for an
Mhm.
hour just to vacuum and wipe down the house, which has
Yeah.
been I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do it," but, like, that makes me go into every week being like, "Okay, things look good around here," versus, like, every week trying to catch up of, like, cleaning this room and wiping down this room. Everything is clean most of the time when you have someone coming weekly, and we pay $50. So
Yeah.
that is like so life-changing for us.
And it really helps, honestly, with my mental health too, because when I
Mhm.
wake up in the morning and my house is a mess, instantly I'm
Mhm.
annoyed because I'm thinking of all the
Yes.
things I already have to do. Yeah, it really does help me help
Yeah.
everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what's so great about entrepreneurship too is that service swapping is always an option, or
Mhm.
like just figuring out ways that you can help yourself, whether it is at home or whether it is in your business, ways that you can offload things, and like obviously the finances have to be there to make it work, but like
Yeah.
maybe that's your goal. Maybe your
Mhm.
goal isn't like grow by X amount of clients or X amount of sales. Maybe it's to grow so that you can have that like social media person, or someone who just goes through your emails, or maybe it's the like chat bot on your website that you want to pay a little extra for to help streamline inquiries or whatever it is. I think being able to like sit down, map out what you want things to look like and how you can make things easier for yourself um, is amazing to be able to do.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your planner, you're planning out what you wanted this product to look like. What how did you want, like, other women and entrepreneurs to feel when you created it? Like, what did you want them or us, all of us, to get from it?
Yeah, I wanted moms to realize that they can do it all, that it does take some creativity, and you do have to really think about how you're going to build your business around your family, but, like, I wanted them to have a tool that made it possible because I realized that organizing and planning isn't everybody's forte, and I learned that it was mine. So I wanted to other moms who were in the thick of especially like the early motherhood, because that's when you're trying to figure out who you are again, and do you have confidence of serving clients or service when you're feeding a baby and waking up, anyway. I wanted moms to know that they can do it, that they have a tool laid out that's beautiful and professional and well made, um, to help them really map out their business around their family and execute it with excellence is really kind of what I and still today, like that's I want moms to not have to go to 9 to 5 and put their kids in daycare if they don't want to, but to know they can build a business. What are they good at? What are their tools? Like, what are their assets? So, because they do have them.
Yeah. And I think what's kind of missing in the planner market, I am a mom with ADHD, and I have had every planner in the book. And I think what's been missing for me, which I didn't realize, was that I all the planners I had were just for work, or I
Hmm.
just had a notebook for family stuff. Never have I found something that, like, truly integrated both of those things, which I think, is kinda where the disconnect is for me with a planner is, like, okay, well, only half of my life is in here, and what do I get, 2 planners and, like, carry around
Yeah,
both of them? Being able to
totally.
merge both of them completely is gonna be game changing for me for 2026.
Yeah. That's the whole key because we're not two different people. We're not two different roles. Like we have our role and we need to put them together. We can't split them. Otherwise, we're always going to have like compartmentalized lives and tasks, and that's just not doable. So, yeah. And
And
it can
you
be all in one. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, I have a hard time you said, like, moms can do it all, and I think everyone has a hard time with, like, moms can do it all, but maybe they don't want to, or they like, it just seems like saying moms can do it all has so much weight, but I
Hmm.
think that it's true. I think that we are so much more capable of doing it all, but in a different sense that looks right for you. So for me, doing it
Totally.
all is being able to be home with my son, spend time with my husband, figure out a way to keep my house clean-ish, do the fun projects I wanna do while also having a podcast and doing a business where I can support other moms and creators and small business owners. What
Yeah.
that looks like is not me doing those things 100% of the time. So for me, it's doing it all, but the way that I allocate my time is different. So, like, for example, next week, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be out of the country where I will be focusing on only my family and maybe getting a little content for the podcast. Outside of that, I am doing no business. I'm doing no housekeeping. I'm doing no like administrative tasks. So 80% of my time is going to be all family, which
Hmm.
means so when I come back, 80% of my time is going to have to go back to work and figuring out what fires I have to put out or whatever happens while I'm out because I was able to spend that time with my family. So I think again it goes back to like the trade-offs, what percentage
Hmm.
of time you're able to do all things. I think looks different for everybody. So I know people have a hard
Totally.
time with the like moms can do it all, but I think we can. It just is reframing what it looks like. And I feel like
Oh,
with your
absolutely.
planner, it like helps you visualize that completely.
Hmm. And also, I think you have to like respect your season that you're in. Like doing it all looks different now than it did when I was just starting. If doing it all like means that I'm bringing in an income and supporting my family, well, that I wasn't there 5 years ago. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But at that point, in my mind of I'm building my business and being home with my 2-year-old, for me, that's doing it all. And now my kids are in preschool and um kin or first grade. So my life looks a little bit different, but also like we can't put ourselves in a box and we can't look at what other people are doing either. Um, Especially people that are like 10 years ahead of us. We have to stay in our lane, our limits, and our skills. I don't have the same skills as you and to other people. So like I'm doing it all, but I'm not cleaning my house. Like I'm at that point where I can pull someone in to do it, but it's just time and season and just putting your blinders on what's important to you. And I think like the we can do it all, I think it forces moms to just be creative and figure it out and be kind of be proactive, create systems and anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it's just so interesting to see how everybody what it looks like to everybody to do it all.
Hmm.
And I love what you said about like time and season. I remember when I first had my son, I got a really cool opportunity with the podcast that I had to um kind of put off to a later time just because I was like the mantra that I had, which sounds negative now but wasn't to me, was like right now is not my time. For me, that meant right now is not my time to grow the podcast or grow a business, whatever it was going to be. Right now, my time is limited to be home with my son and focus on being a mom and learning myself and learning this new person, both my son and myself. And that allowed me to that next year be able to do like, okay, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to refocus. And I think had I not given myself that time, would have had a lot of regret of not like fully leaning into my first year with my son. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of moms can identify with that as well.
Mm.
So like when it came to designing what the planner was going to look like, what was the thought process behind it?
Um, Really, I wanted, the time block. The time block was big because even if we're not like rigid time blockings, we have like our rhythm of the day. And a lot of planners, they had, the blank space, but I'm like, well, what am I doing? Like, when are my blank spaces? When do I get to breathe? When do I get to rest? When do I get to work? So that was really big. I also love, like, I wanted the monthly intentions and the monthly reflections so that we're like analyzing, like, what do we want to do this month? What are our priorities? And then looking back, like, okay, did I reach my goal or what were some wins? What am I grateful for? Um, because I feel like we're in this busy world, we're not able to just sit and reflect a lot. And I think there's a lot of good that can come out in just easy journaling or reflecting so we know exactly what's working. Because as moms, like, we don't have time to make the same mistake over and over and over again. Like, we have to be efficient. We have to be like, okay, that didn't work. How can we revamp it? And so I wanted, just easy journaling for that. And the daily gratitude. Like, I made sure to put daily gratitude because I just feel like some days are hard, so hard. And we just want to go back to bed and it's only 10:30 in the morning. And I just feel like thinking of little gratitudes for the day can just really turn your day around, especially when we're in the thick of it. And
Yeah, for sure.
and then also, like, at the beginning of the planner, there's, how to build your business and your goals, your quarters. So really map out like how you're going to do that in your season. If you have a 2-year-old, you're not going to go to business meet, you're not going to be on calls. So what can you do with your 2-year-old at home to help build your business? What's your game plan? So, yeah, just
Yeah, and
really, yeah.
I think as entrepreneur moms, we're just like, or just moms in general, we're like, okay, we got to get to the next thing. We're so living in the moment that I feel like the opportunity to just sit down and be like, okay, what do I want things to look like? What's my goal? I think, or like even looking forward to the next year, what are my plans for, and how do I map it out each quarter? I think can be extremely helpful in those hard days when it's like, why am I doing this? Should I just go back to a 9 to 5, or like, should I deciding whether to keep going or not? I think those like planning sessions can be extremely helpful in reminding you why you're doing it all. And I think that's key. I think we rarely, as women in general, sit down and like plan what we want things to look like. I think it can be extremely helpful for obviously our business to have a bit more of a plan. Um, but I think it can be helpful to reminding you why you continue to do this every
Yeah.
day, and what you're getting from it. Obviously, the gratitude is incredible to be able to have every day to write that down, but I think planning session to go through like what your next year is going to look like, what your focus is, I think can really help like reset you almost.
Mhm. And help you like stick with your plan too, because I'm a squirrel. Like, I'm like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do this. And I'm so guilty of that. Even if right now in my busy season, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should add this. And my husband's like, Taylor, maybe you should park it, put it on
Yes.
2026, think about it. And it just helps you to be like, no, this is my plan. Like, this is a great idea. Let's put it in the parking lot and revisit it. But it just helps you with that focus because I am so guilty of coming up with an idea and implementing it right then and there. And
Mhm.
I shouldn't have. And I should have waited. I should have thought through it a little longer.
Yep.
Yeah. So it
Yeah, I'm
helps with
guilty of
that.
that as well. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
guilty of, like, having an idea and, like, going full force immediately without a plan, and then I'm like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
wish I didn't do that," or having a really great plan, writing it down, and then never thinking about it again.
Mhm.
And
I have
I
I
think
have those too.
yeah, that's, incredible foresight to be able to be like, "Okay, this is a great idea that we can revisit at this X amount of time when I have more
Yes.
time available."
Yes. Yes.
Um, so do you wanna talk a little bit about the magazine?
Yeah. This was an idea that I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I didn't think it all the way through and I did it. So as we're talking about ideas that we should have parking lot, this was the Mompreneur Collective, and I literally thought of it. It was like right after Christmas. Like December 27th. I was like, I'm gonna make a yearly edition of the magazine and bring in mom entrepreneurs to share their story. I wanted it to be like a community building piece, but also like where you feel like where you're not alone and have moms who are have built their business to share tips and get an inside story on what they're doing and how it went for them. So that was where this was born. And yeah, this was an idea that I was like, I probably should have thought through it, but you know what? It worked out in the end. Um, I am making lots of tweaks for it next year, but and that's also some things like clarity comes after action. And that was for sure, sometimes if you're like, I'm not sure what to do, just start. And then it'll
Yeah.
become more clear as you go. But yeah, this is our first edition. Every year we'll do a new edition. Um, but that was kind of the thought process about um kind of what we wanted and where we wanted to go. We have bigger plans for it in the future, as we've been sitting on it now for a year and like where we can take it. So that's really fun. But yeah, that was exhibit A of one of my
Yeah.
crazy ideas that I just executed on a whim.
Yeah, but I think it's great in effort of, like, community building. I got the chance to be able to look through it and just being able to read the stories of these other moms and be like, "Oh my gosh, I've been there," or "I definitely get this." I think it can be a source of community building in a very specific, like, tangible way. Obviously, we see so much on social media and, I mean, even in podcasting or just on the internet in general, but I think being able to just like there is something to sitting down and like leafing through a magazine, um, that's just so like inspirational and
Mhm.
positive.
Yeah, and I was one of those teenagers too that had every edition of the 17 magazine. Like I was a big magazine girl. I'm kind of sad that I don't have them. I threw them all away. I'm very upset. But I've always loved magazines. And so even though magazine is kind of dead, I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it
Yeah.
back and we're going to roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you in a world that's so, like, digital focused, how have you found a way to kind of, like, weed through, the digital landscape to have a physical planner and magazine?
I am not scared of digital world taking over planners, paper planners, because I think it's just a brain thing. I will never be okay with the digital planning. Sure, I have like a planning system on my back end that runs, the bones of my business. But for me, I have to write it down or I will forget. I mean, I know we had the Google Calendar reminders for this. I didn't see them. It was on my planner. We have so many notifications. I don't even see my notifications anymore. And there is something about writing something down to have it stick in your head. Or if you have so much in your head that you want to get out, like I have to write it down. I think it works both ways. Like I can't fully process something unless I'm writing it down. And then I can put it in my digital backend system. But yeah, that's just the way my brain works. So we will roll out like a digital planner for those people that like it. But um I just think paper is not going anywhere because I think it's a brain thing. And I think as busy as our lives get, I still don't think I mean, life is fast paced as it is. And I don't, yeah, paper. And I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of other people that are paper people too.
Yeah, I am quite the opposite. I am like a full digital girl. Like I live by my Google Calendar. Everything is in like a Asana tab with like a project, but I will agree that there is something to like physically writing something down. And for
Yeah.
me, doing something like a routine daily is so anchoring for me, given that I'm a mom with ADHD, newly diagnosed ADHD. I need like an anchor to each like section of my day. And I think having a planner to physically write in that, like, this is what's coming up, or even if it's just planning for that week or that month or the year for my business and for myself, I think there is something to like sitting down, getting out your favorite pen and, like, writing out your ideas. I think
Yeah.
it's a brain like you said, a brain thing. It, like, turns something else on. Like you said, we're in such, like, a notification heavy world that I think
Hmm.
you're right. Nothing will ever replace paper.
Yeah. And to, like, the people like you who live off of their Google Calendar, I think a great way to use your paper planner is to map out, like, this is my family time. This is my business time.
Mm,
This
yeah.
is my personal time so that you can physically see where you're blocking out your windows of categories, and then making sure that your Google Calendar aligns with your ideal week per se, or if you are like, I need the 4 to 6 time as my family, and you have that highlighted in pink, then make sure there's nothing on your Google Calendar from 4 to 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just kind of tells your brain like, this is my non-negotiable. This week we're doing this. So that's an
Yeah, I
idea.
love that. Yeah, that's like the perfect integration of both. Do you want to share anything that might be coming up for the Mompreneur Paper Company?
Um, we don't have any new like products rolling out in our future. Maybe, I mean, we are working on a digital planner, but that's still in the works and I don't have an end date on that one. Um, we are, applications are open to be in the next Mompreneur Collective magazine. You can, um, but yeah, since we launched the stickers, the magazine, and then the two planner editions this year, we launched a lot in one year, so we're kinda having to, like, chill for a minute.
Yes. Yes.
'Cause but you can find us on Instagram, uh, and our website is the Mompreneur Paper Co. Um, our website is themompreneurpaperco.com. So that's pretty much our name across social platforms.
Perfect. Anything else about entrepreneurship that you would like to leave with moms who are listening?
Yeah, I would just say honor your season. And if you are in the thick of it with toddlers, this probably isn't your time to build fast. Maybe this is your laying your foundation of your business and making that strong. And if you are in your burnout season, I know I have my seasons of that, honor that season. Don't try to push through it. Just take your personal time, go to the beach, go to the mountains, journal, do something fun, but just honor your season. Put your blinders on, don't compare, because that is the killer of all creativity. And you don't feel good about yourself, that nothing happens from that. That's productive. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. I'm so excited to chat with you and get planning for 2026.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. It's so fun to be here.
That's it for today's episode of the Mama Making Podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with a friend, leave a review, or follow us on social media. We love hearing what's landing for you. And most importantly, keep making your way through. You're never in this alone. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.